Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Derek Stokes, and I am a sales consultant here at Nebraska Furniture Mart. I'm here today with Miss Kendra Schofella, and Kendra is the product specialist for Electrolux. Welcome, Kendra.
Thank you. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Welcome. Today, we are here highlighting Electrolux commitment to sustainability and the roadmap to sustainability from now through 2030. We also want to show how Electrolux shopping for their appliances can help reduce the environmental impact in your own home. We also want to highlight the Energy Star rated front load washer and dryer pair that we have on stock. And also just a quick reminder that any comments will be entered into the Electrolux contest to win a pair of washer and dryers as well. So Kendra, tell me a little bit about Electrolux commitment to sustainability.
Yeah, so Electrolux was actually the first manufacturer to set a science-backed target towards sustainability and reducing our carbon emissions back in 2018. And we actually reached that goal 3 years early. So now we've set another goal for 2030. And then this pair that you see here won most sustainable product from Green Builder Media. And then that leads into our clothing sustainability goal, which is to make your clothing last twice as long with half of the environmental impact.
You mentioned clothing. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. Okay. So first poll for the audience, how many gallons of water do you think it takes to manufacture one pair of jeans? So we'll wait for some of those comments to come in. I'll give you a hint. It's probably higher than you think. Do you have some guesses coming in? I don't want to give it away too early. 25 was a guess. 100. 34. Think higher. 1,000? Closer. Okay, I'll let you know. It's 2,000 gallons of water is used to make one pair of jeans. And so now, Scotty, if you can cue that graphic that we have, some other facts about the textile industry. So about 11 million tons of clothing is wasted annually. And we use 400% more clothes are manufactured today than 20 years ago. So this is harsh on the environment, but we love our clothes, we love our fabrics. And so what we can do at Electrolux is determine how we are caring for those fabrics that you are purchasing. And so that kind of leads into our goal of making your fabrics last longer so that they don't end up in landfills.
So Kendra, you're telling us that a ton of water is used in making clothes and that many of those clothes end up in the landfill?
Yeah, so about 85% of textiles manufactured end up in landfills every year. And so what we want to create is a gentle appliance that's going to maintain not just the vibrancy of the colors of the fabrics, but also the threads that go into making those fabrics so that your clothing can last longer, you can keep it longer, but all of that while having half of the environmental impact on the planet.
Great. So now that we understand how the impact of clothing is on the environment, how is Electrolux really making sure fabrics and garments last longer?
Glad you asked. So with this new pair, this is our most sustainable laundry pair to date. And there are a couple of enhancements that we made to our previous models to create the 700 series pair that you see behind me. So starting in the washer, we have a patented exclusive third pump called Smart Boost. We're the only manufacturer that has this. And what it does is for up to 6 minutes, it premixes anything that goes into this dispenser chamber right here. Anything that goes in there gets sent to the Smart Boost pump, premixes with water for up to 6 minutes, before it is distributed onto fabrics. And so this ensures that no stains get missed, but also you don't experience that concentration of detergent after some of your fabrics, if they've gone through an entire wash and dry cycle and they feel heavy in some parts. That's because you typically have detergent go in the drum first, followed by water, or water followed by detergent. So it's depositing in uneven ways on the fabric. And so with that Smart Boost, you're ensuring a nice even mix, but you're also activating that detergent to start that clean immediately on those fabrics. And again, this is the only, this and our 600 series are the only 2 washing machines on the market that are going to have this pump, but also not having to have a stain that's missed. If you are putting your fabrics through an entire wash and dry cycle and you have a stain on it, what are you going to do? You're probably going to wash and dry it again. That's using more energy, more water to get those stains out. So Smart Boost is a way to ensure that those stains aren't getting missed.
We did get a couple of questions that just came in. Just what is the maintenance recommended on these machines?
So the maintenance, we lovingly like to call them self-cleaning machines. And that is because of the way that the gasket is positioned on here. So I'm tugging this pretty hard right now. I promise I'm strong, and you can see me tugging it, and it's not going to move. We do extensive testing at our R&D facility where we put a tackle box full of small everyday items, things like buttons, pennies, batteries, bobby pins that would get stuck in a washing machine. And we count them all up in the beginning, put them in with a load of towels, run the entire cycle, and then count them up at the end. And what we find is everything is there at the beginning of the cycle and at the end. So you're not going to lose anything going into getting stuck in between the machine or having to clean out a filter in the front of the machine.
Oh, great.
And then we also have so there's an indicator that pops up on the control panel that tells you to clean your washer every 50 cycles. Oh, look at that. So every 50 cycles, you'll get a reminder to clean your washer. And so that'll just ensure that if you're not remembering on your own, the machine is going to remember for you, tell you to clean it. And then you can put things like our probiotic cleaner that eats away at any mold that may have built up over time, but also is just going to keep that nice and fresh. And then also this gasket is injected with antimicrobial properties to ensure that mold and mildew doesn't build up. I know a lot of people have hesitation switching to front load laundry because of that with the smell, but rest assured, you're not going to experience that on here. And then the last thing I want to call out is our magnetic door vent. And so this is a retractable door vent right here that's going to ensure that the door stays open whenever in between washes. And so if I were to shut this, notice how that didn't close all of the way, and you have air that can vent out. And then with just a little bit more force, you can close that and utilize the washer. And so peace of mind that you'll have that nice venting happening when the machine's not in use.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kendra. What about energy efficiency?
Energy efficiency. So that is where these come into play, because this is Energy Star's most efficient washer. So what that means, Energy Star, it's important because it determines the energy consumption that is happening in your home, and laundry is actually uses the third most amount of energy in your home, followed by your HVAC and your water heater. So these are using a lot of energy already. So you want to ensure that you're having the most efficient, you're using the least amount of energy possible while also not compromising on that cleaning care of the clothing.
I know I get the question all the time too from customers, front load versus top load. What are the advantages?
Okay, so I am a big front load fan, and hopefully after this, you will be too. So like I said, a lot of people, they feel like they can't let go of their beloved top load because of the smell that occurs in the front load laundry, and also because of the agitator. They might think that they're getting a better clean. So first, with front load, you're getting a better clean because of the tumbling action, because it's tumbling in that horizontal way, and the way that the fabrics rub against each other to clean. This is going to be a better clean. You also, because it's Electrolux 700 series, have that Smart Boost pump that we talked about. And so having the Smart Boost in the front load laundry, you're getting a better coverage of the detergent and the water. And then also you're using significantly less water switching to front load than top load. So if you have a front loader, you're using about 80 gallons less of water a month than you would be in a traditional top load platform.
Okay, we have a few more questions coming through, Kendra. Let's see. Are there wrinkle options for the dryer?
Yes. So hold that question because we're going to get to the dryer after we finish with the washer, but remind me to go back to that.
All right. And another important one is, are there gentle settings on the washer?
Yes, there are. So we have a delicate setting. So you can see right in here, delicate is our second option. And then you also have soil levels that you can choose. And so if it's lightly worn clothing, you can choose an extra light or light. And with that, and we'll actually talk about that dedicated cold wash here in a second, but when you choose that dedicated cold wash and the extra light or light, you're using about 20 liters less of water than in a traditional normal cycle.
Capacity?
Capacity. So we've got 4.5 cubic feet in the washer. Now, you might be getting your fingers ready to type, okay, well, I've seen 5 before. That's correct. You have. It's not the largest in the industry. However, the difference between 4.5 and 5 in a washer is not substantial. It's about a sweatshirt or two. And that's because when water's introduced into the drum, it condenses those fabrics nice and small, and they take up less space than when you put them in. Where you need the capacity is in the dryer, because you need that even airflow going throughout, and you also need the fabrics to have room to be able to spread back out as they dry. So the dryer capacity is 8 cubic feet, which is one of the largest in the industry, and that's really where it matters. 4.5 cubic feet is plenty large enough to fit a California king size comforter, and so that's an easy reference to know that you can fit even the largest of loads in our washer and our dryer.
And one last question, and my wife asks me this all the time when I'm at the grocery store. Is it okay to use scent beads in your dryer, in your dryer, or in your washer?
In your washer? So yes, you can. You don't need to. The scent bead companies are great marketers.
Yes, they are.
And so not super necessary. That's detergents are scented as well. So you can just do that. What you really want out of your washer is to ensure that you're getting an efficient clean. And so that is really where we lean into in our innovations.
That's awesome. All right. The last thing I wanted to point out was the design. It's the forest green color. Does that tie into anything specific, or?
Well, yeah, today is Earth Day, and I'm standing in front of this green laundry pair. So what we wanted to do with leaning into this design is really follow key consumer trends. And we know that a lot of homeowners, they see their home as their sanctuary, their place of peace, where they want to relax. And so we really wanted to lean into a color that spoke to that. And green is very popular. Some of you may have some green cabinetry in your kitchens. You may have some green decor, maybe some throw pillows. So we leaned into that by having this matte green color here. If that's too aggressive for you and you don't want green, but you still want this laundry pair, rest assured it also comes in white. But this matte coloring is really pretty.
All right.
And then I think, Derek, I wanted to go back and talk about our cold optimization in our washer, because that really leans into the sustainability as well. So with our 700 series, there's 2 features. There's one in the washer and one in the dryer where we really leaned into that most sustainable pair yet. So in the washer, it is optimized for cold. So what that means is we have done some feature changes and added a dedicated cold wash cycle so that cold water washing is a little bit more intuitive for you at home. So we have our cold wash, that is the top cycle. Your eyes avert to the top of the list. And so we put it at the top so that it's easy for you to choose it. It's the first thing that you see. But then you'll also notice these controls. We start with eco cold on the temperatures and get hotter as we go down the list. start with the lightest soil and get more soiled as we go down the list. So again, the lightest, most gentle options are there at the top so that that's a little bit more intuitive for you. And then you'll also notice this leaf that pops up. So every cycle, the amount of leaves changes, but it's anywhere from 0 to 3 leaves. And this just acts as a visual indicator for you at home to tell you what the cycle choices that you're choosing, maybe the temperature level, but it's just a nice visual indicator for you at home to tell you about the sustainable choices that you're making for your fabric. So 3 is the most. So those of you that are competitive, if you want to get to 3, then you have 3 leaves and know that you are having the best care for your fabrics. And so with that cold wash, washing in cold is better for your clothing and for the environment. So about 90% of the energy used in laundry comes from heating the water to wash it. But also that is what causes the integrity of the fabric to kind of deteriorate over time, and also is what causes that color fading in fabric. But remember, we said it at the beginning, we're trying to make clothing last twice as long. And so having a dedicated cold wash is going to minimize that color fading and also maintain the integrity of those fabrics. And then we also have, excuse me, I'm gonna pop this out.
There you go.
We also are Tide Cold certified. So this is our adaptive dispenser, and you'll notice this orange call out right here. So in this orange chamber, you can put a pod in there. I don't know how many of you are pod users. Sound off in the comments if you are. But if you use pods at home, you know that they're easy to use. But what happens? You throw it into the drum, cross your fingers, and hope that it's going to burst. And sometimes it does, but sometimes you have it stuck to the back of a sweater or maybe lodged into a pillowcase. And that's because you're relying on the garments rubbing against each other to break that casing, and also the water pressure from inside the drum. But here, when you have, you're able to put it into the dispenser, when you put the pods in there and then choose pods on the machine, this machine knows that there's pods inside of that dispenser, and then water jets are introduced here for 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the cycle that you choose. They burst that pod and then send it to that Smart Boost pump to premix with the water. And so if you have kids in the home, pods are easier to use. You have peace of mind knowing that you can use that. And because of our pod dispenser, our machines are Tide Cold certified across our lineup, starting in our 400 series, because they all have this same adaptive dispenser. And so being able to switch to cold and have that backing from another company like Tide just speaks volumes to the sustainability of our laundry pair. And then somebody asked about wrinkles in their fabric. So we have steam functionality in both the washer and the dryer. But the dryer, I really want to call out, which is my favorite cycle, and it's the wear it again cycle. So the wear it again cycle, it's also located at the very top to be able to be more intuitive for the user. And what it is 15 minutes of 3 things: heat, steam, and tumbling action of the drum. And it's going to neutralize odors, remove pet hair, and significantly reduce wrinkles. So if you have wrinkles in those garments, rest assured, you don't have to run your fabrics through an entire wash and dry cycle. Again, saving some water, saving energy. In just 15 minutes, you can revive those lightly worn fabrics.
Interesting. Great information too, Kendra. Thank you very much. There's a couple other questions that came through, and I think you answered most of them. How is it with dog hair? We mentioned dog hair. Mm-hmm. Is there a short cycle? Is there a quick cycle?
Yes, there is. So we have a 15-minute fast wash in the washer, accompanied by a 15-minute fast dry. And so with those 15 minutes, because of Smart Boost, the best stain removal in the industry, if you have ever visited me at our headquarters, then you have maybe seen this, but I take a perfectly good white apron and put chocolate syrup all over it and put it in that 15-minute fast wash with a pod. And in 15 minutes, it comes out pristine, completely white. And that is because of the Smart Boost pump that we have and the ability to effectively clean clothing in 15 minutes.
Guys, just so you know, too, for those of you who are following along, we also wanted to make sure that just drop us a note and you get to go into a drawing to win this washer dryer set.
Yes, and I think I missed some, or Scott has a video for us to show us about Smart Boost and wear it again. So Scott, can you play those videos back to back, please?
Experience the most effective stain removing washer with Smart Boost. Smart Boost is the only technology available that pre-mixes water and detergent in a special chamber before it ever touches your clothes. This additional step creates a powerful solution to maximize the cleaning power of your detergent and ensures even distribution to remove stains more effectively. With Smart Boost, stains don't stand a chance, making your clothes last longer for a more sustainable future.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, Kendra. So cold optimization in your washing cycle. Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, so I mentioned it a little bit. So that cold optimization, we have that dedicated cold wash, but something that we also have is a cold sanitize option. So not only having the best clean on that cold wash, but also being able to sanitize fabrics on what traditionally you would only be able to achieve with hot water. So we still have that option here, and that just requires putting it on the sanitized setting that just uses hot water to remove that bacteria. But for those that want to care for their clothing exclusively in cold water, we have a cold sanitize option. So this can be put onto any of the cycles that you see. And so with that cold sanitize, you're going to use an additive, and inside of the dispenser, right here, it says sanitizer or liquid bleach. So when you choose that cold sanitize option, the machine knows that there's sanitizer in here, and then you just put the rest of your detergent and additives in like you normally would, and the machine takes out all of the guesswork. So to be able to sanitize with these laundry sanitizers, which some of you may already have in your home, it needs to sit on fabrics for at least 16 minutes to achieve that sanitization, but then it also has to be after the wash cycle. So this machine takes out all of that guesswork. It runs your wash cycle first, pulls that sanitizer to the Smart Boost pump, pre-mixes with water, distributes evenly onto fabrics. That's important, especially when you're trying to sanitize. Holds it on the fabrics for 17 minutes and then rinses and spins so that you can achieve not only cleaning, but also sanitizing all with cold water.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome how Electrolux is doing a great job to protect the environment and to make sure that you're energy efficient in your home as well. Just one last quick question. How long has Electrolux been making washers and dryers?
Ooh, that's a great question. A lot of years. I do know that we have, since we created Smart Boost, sorry? 1919?
Wow.
Wow. Okay, Electrolux started in 1919. I don't know if we've created washers and dryers since then, but who knows? Maybe you can look it up and tell us in the comments. But I will say that 8 years in a row, we have been rated the best washer and dryer because of that exclusive pump. Washers and dryers came in the 50s.
Good answer, guys. Quick. All right. Is Electrolux the only company innovating with sustainability through their laundry products?
So no, at Electrolux, we have sustainability in mind with all of our products. And so, for example, for those who don't know, our brand is also Frigidaire. So any Frigidaire, Frigidaire Gallery, and Frigidaire Professional that you see also has our innovation. So just for a quick example, produce and keeping it in refrigerators. And so our gallery and refrigerators have a technology called Crisp Seal Plus. And I think we have an asset to show for Crisp Seal. But it's a 3-component system that's going to provide best-in-class freshness for your produce. So we lovingly like to refer to the produce bins in our refrigerators as vegetable hospice, because what happens? You buy a bag of spinach for it to just wilt a couple days later, and then you throw it away and do the whole cycle again. You don't even get to enjoy it. So we want to make sure that we are eliminating that food waste, but also saving you money at home by having produce that lasts a lot longer. So our 3-component Crisp Seal system is going to do 3 things. 1, the blue seal in the front is going to block out dry air from entering. So that dry air is what causes produce to shrivel up over time and have that kind of dry look that doesn't look very appetizing or appealing. So that seal is going to block that dry air. Then there's also an auto humidity control one-way membrane located in the back of the refrigerator that's going to allow any water to evaporate out of the back. And so produce naturally holds water. And what that's going to do is that water needs somewhere to go. If it has nowhere to go, it remains in that bin, and then just that's what causes wilting and sogginess in produce over time. So that water being able to evaporate is going to eliminate that. And then the 3rd component is our ethylene absorber. So ethylene is a natural gas that is emitted by all produce at different rates. But what that's going to do, that's also, if you have an avocado, you have like 0.2 seconds to be able to enjoy it before it's over ripened.
Really?
So when you have that ethylene absorber in the crisper bin, it's going to absorb all of that gas and prevent that over ripening from happening too quickly. And so being able to have our Crisp Seal freshness component system is going to, again, allow that reduction of food waste and save you money. You're not having to throw away perfectly good food too early.
All right, Kendra, I know I was raised to reduce, reuse, recycle adage as part of my shutting off the lights when I leave the room. But what are some of the ways that we can leave a room and put sustainability efforts into practice?
Yeah, so with what I just said, the preventing that food waste from by having some sort of freshness system, whether you have ethylene absorber that you put inside of your bins. Also, we didn't touch on dishwashers, but running your dishwasher at night is a huge energy saving story. And that's because if you're doing it during the day, that's peak energy consumption time. That's when everybody else is also using their energy. So it requires more fossil fuels to be able to fuel all of your appliances. And so running it at night is off-peak hours and will be better for the environment. And then also, even if you're nervous, I promise it's okay. Switch to front load if you're able to, but if not, whether you are washing with a front load washer or top load, switching to cold water washing is going to do wonders for your fabrics and be a huge energy saver in the home.
Kendra Schofeld, thank you very much for being with us today. We really appreciate the time. Great information. Happy Earth Day, everyone.
And make sure to comment to win this pair.